Hey everyone, welcome to the first episode of the new version of the Home Game Show podcast. I'm the master of the Hollywood Squares, John S. Drew. Now, you may have listened to the original version of the podcast, which had only one episode produced. It was a lot of fun to do, but there's something lacking in doing an audio podcast on TV game shows when they're all based on the TV medium. So I decided to kick this up a notch and try to do a more visual version of the podcast. So I guess you could call this a vidcast. At least that's what the kids do, he says as he tries to scooch this back up. It's going to have two elements that will air during the course of a month. This is the first part in which I'll introduce the game we're going to play. I'll talk about the game show itself and then about the version we will be playing. I'll try to include an episode from the TV series so you can get an idea of what it was like. Then comes the second part, which will play later in the month. The actual gameplay of the game. Sometimes it'll be done live, and other times it'll be done via Skype. The first episode will be done via Skype. Now, the first game we're going to look at is Card Sharks. Card Sharks was created by Chester Feldman for Goodman Todman Productions. Now, I didn't know this, but it was based on the card game Acey Deucey. I never played it. To me, the appeal of the game was twofold. I love the questions, often moral ones, where you had to guess how many people out of 100 would feel the same way. I also love the oversized cards they played with. Now, I have my Disney set, but I recently saw an even larger set at Five Below that I picked up. Pretty cool, all right? These things are like 7.5 inches by 10.5 inches, something like that. I don't know what the cards are for the Disney ones. You got Mickey on the back there. Who knows? If I ever do a live version of the show, maybe I'll bring along my large cards to play. Now, the object was to get control of your line of cards by answering the moral dilemma presented. Once you had control, you had to guess if the unturned card was higher or lower than the card presented. If you won 2 rounds of this, you went on to play the money cards round, where you played by placing bets on the outcome of your guesses of higher or lower. Now, I didn't know this, but there are 4 versions of Card Sharks that were produced. I knew of the first 3. The first was the legendary one with Jim Perry that aired on NBC from 1979 to 1981. This was followed by a version hosted by Bob Eubanks on CBS from 86 to 89. And during that time, Bill Rafferty hosted a syndicated version that ran from 86 to 87. Rafferty and Eubanks were fine hosts, but Jim Perry owned this show. Like Bob Barker with The Price is Right or Gene Rayburn with Match Game, when I think Card Sharks, I think Jim Perry. And then there's the 2001 version. Yeesh. It's painful to watch. 2 players play a single line of cards and gain control of them by guessing the outcome to videos presented to them. It's painful to watch as the gameplay is boring, as is host Pat Bullard. There are samples on YouTube, and I'll post one in the show notes, but don't say I didn't warn you. Now, we're going to be using the only version that has an actual physical artifact to play. It was produced by Endless Games in 2002. Now, I'm not a fan of Endless Games. They are lazy with their design in terms of physical components, and Card Sharks is one great example of this. But before we go into the box itself, we need to take a moment to laugh at the box cover. First, it says 25th anniversary. 2002 was not the 25th anniversary of Card Sharks. 2004 was. Also, 25th anniversary suggests there are other versions of the game floating out there. Also, if you'll note, they used the logo from the 2001 version, presumably to tie in with the new series. But thankfully, this game does not follow that version. In fact, and this is a good thing about Endless Games, despite the poor physical pieces in the game, the gameplay itself is incredibly faithful to the original 3 versions. Now, if you go inside the box, as you can see, not all that exciting to look at. We've got 2 decks of cards, red and blue, for the 2 players. They didn't even bother to include cards with the Card Sharks logo. Maybe they spent that part of the budget making the money, which does. Next, we have the rule book with the moral questions, 484 in total. So you can go through this multiple times and then swing back to play more. They also put boxes next to each question so you can tick them off as you keep track. We asked 100 Marines, do you think the Marine Corps could do a better job running this country than the government is doing? How many Marines said they could do a better job? Wow, now there's a loaded question for today. Of course, this is 2001, and I think they were actually taking the questions from the 80s version. And then we come to the piece of resistance, the game board. It's a cardboard piece, two-sided. One side is where you play the main game, and the other is where you play money cards. It's fine the way it is, but I can't help but feel as if this were back in the 70s and 80s, Milton Bradley would have had a better setup where you could have the cards standing on the shelf on each line of the game. It works fine the way it is, but there's just something about the old Milton Bradley ideal games that had a more physical element to make you feel like you were on the set of the game show. And don't even get me started on the ones from the 50s, like Tic-Tac-Toe. Those are things of beauty. So we have the game. We have 2 players ready to go on Skype. The gameplay is going to take place in about 2 weeks' time, so stay tuned for that. Now, in the meantime, take a look at this example from the good old days with host Jim Perry. Enjoy, and I look forward to seeing you when we try out this bad boy and offer our thoughts on it. Until then, take care.
Aces twinkle, deuces flash. Any card can win the cash on Card Shark. And here's the host of Card Shark, Jim Perry.
Oh, that was the worst poem I've ever heard. Welcome to Card Shark, the game of decision. Aces twinkle, deuces fly. Gene Wood, you are getting so bad. Nice to have you back here with us. We're in the middle of an exciting match, so let's open the board and get to the cards. Janice and Ann, if you will, start loading in the cards, please. You can see we have a game in progress with these fine Card Sharks. Hello there, Jackie Davis.
Hi, how are you?
Good to see you again.
Thank you.
Our champion, remind us a little about yourself.
Well, my name is Jackie Davis. I teach high school English and drama, and we just recently put on a production of The Hobbit that was successful.
That's terrific. Now, you're a big, what do you won, $10,400 in cash so far?
Yeah.
That's nice. My spies tell me that your family took you out and celebrated. What happened?
They took me fishing for the very, very first time in my life.
Isn't that
and
nice?
they told me that since it was my first time, I would have beginner's luck, and we would eat what I caught.
Terrific. What'd you have for dinner?
Hamburger.
That's what I thought. Okay. Good night, Jackie. Our challenger, Karen Williamson. Hi, Karen. Nice to see you again.
Thank you.
And again, would you remind us about yourself?
I live in Orange County. I work for a mortgage broker, and I enjoy racquetball and sailing, and I have one little boy, 7.
Oh, terrific. He must keep you busy, right?
Oh, he does, believe me.
Good. Well, good luck in the match to both of you. Now, we play the best 2 out of 3, and as we left off last time, Karen is leading 1-0. So, Jackie, the pressure's on. Good luck.
Yes.
And each player has their own deck of 52 playing cards, shuffled and cut before we go in the air. The upper cards, the red cards, will be played by the champion, Jackie. The lower cards, the blue cards, will be played by the challenger, Karen. And here's where we stand. Each player needs 2 cards. Jackie has a 9 as her base card, and Karen has a jack, and we are at sudden death. Someone has to win on the next play of the cards. And all of our questions are based on a poll of 100 people. And as we left off, the question goes to you, Jackie, and it is the last question in the game. We asked 100 women, do you think it's a sin for a woman to have a child out of wedlock? How many women said it is a sin?
Well, I think that the morals of our nation have really been loosening up quite a bit, and I think that the number of women who would think that it's a sin has dropped substantially, and I'm going to say 35.
35 out of 100 women think it's a sin to have a child out of wedlock. Karen, higher or lower?
Well, it's very difficult to raise a child on your own, so I'll think a little bit higher.
You say higher than
A
that?
little bit higher.
If it is higher, Karen, you go to the board first. If not, it'll be Jackie. And control is very important now. The actual number of women who believe it is a sin to have a child out of wedlock is 32. It's not higher. Jackie, wow, yes, you may have been right about the changes in the moral. Now listen carefully, it's sudden death, Jackie. You have a 9, you won the question. You have the right to change that 9 and try to turn these 2 cards over. But if you make a mistake, Karen wins the game. However, you've got control. You can force Karen to play off the Jack, which she cannot change. She would have to turn these 2 cards over successfully. You need this game to tie the match. Your decision. You want to play it or pass it?
Wow. I think that her base card is a little too good to pass it to her. I'm going to try to play this one myself, and I'd like to change my base.
All right, here's the next card off the top of your deck. It is a queen.
All right.
You need both of them, Jackie.
Okay, the next card is going to be lower.
Lower than a queen. It's a 7. It's still in it. One more.
All right. I've got to go with the odds and say that the next one is going to be higher.
Not that good a card, but she says high. If this is higher, we've got a tie match. If not, we have a new champion. No, it is not higher. We have a new champion. Karen, congratulations. Congratulations. That 7 came up at a bad time for you, Jackie. But you're leaving us with $10,400. You're a fine champion.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for being here, Jackie. Karen, come on down here. Congratulations.
Thank you. I can't believe it. I thought you had it.
No, you were doing good, and I hope you do good with the money cards that will be coming up right after this. Good one.
For everyone who shouted the correct answer. For everyone who didn't draw a blank.
Bent. Crooked.
For everyone who picked the right card. Here's your chance to play along. All over again.
Are you having as much fun as we are?
Daytime Buzz. Today, starting at 10. Only on Buzzer. Let's play.
And we're back with our champion, Karen Williamson. Again, congratulations, Karen.
Thank you. Thank you.
You all set?
Oh, I'm ready. I'm ready.
And let's open the board and get to the money cards. Come on over here, Karen. Get comfortable and ready. Now, you know how we do it. At $100 a game, you won $200 in the match. That's yours to keep. Now we're going to give you new money to play with, and this time you're going to bet that money. Starting on the bottom line with $200. Bet that as you will with these 3 cards. When you move to the second level, we add another $200 of betting money. And again, it's your decision how you bet them. $50 minimum bets until you get to that top card, the big bet. There you must bet at least half the money. A lot of money up there. Take it away, Karen. Here's $200.
Okay.
As in the game, a choice of 2 base cards, starting with a 6.
Oh,
what do you think? You
I
want to
think
play
I'll
that?
change it.
All right, you've got to play this one. Oh, it's an 8.
Oh.
Ooh, tough card to start with, but let's make it work for you now.
Okay,
$200 and an 8.
Sure. I'm going to go 100 lower.
$100 right off the bat,
Yeah.
half the money.
I'm confident.
All right. Lower than an 8 for $100. Oh, no, it's an 8. But you've got $100
That's a good
and an
card.
ace.
Right. All of it lower.
Now you've got to go with all of it. Lower than an ace. $100. It's a 5. Now you've got $200.
Okay. 150 higher.
You're a big bettor, Karen.
Yeah, I am.
$150 higher than a 5. Oh, it's a 6, a little bit higher.
All right.
You're up to $350 with the 6. Now we move up and add the other $200 of betting money. Karen, you've got $550 and a 6.
Okay. 300 higher.
Again, a very big bet. $300 higher than a 6. Oh, it's a 9. You did it again. $850, and again we're looking at a pretty tough card.
How about 300 lower?
$300 on a 9. I hope you're right, Karen.
Oh, it will be.
$300 lower than a 9. It's a 7. You have had 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. With the exception of the ace, some of the worst cards I've ever seen. You're making them work, Karen. What do you want to do here?
150 higher.
$150 higher than a 7. An 8! Oh, great time for it. $1,300 and an 8. You must bet at least half, $650. You can bet more. What you gonna be?
Okay, all of it lower.
All of
All of it lower.
You will have absolutely nothing, or $2,600 if this is lower than an ace. It is! Great comeback! Congratulations!
Thank you.
Come on down here. That's terrific. You're a gambler.
I am. I go to Vegas quite often.
We'll meet a new challenger for Karen right after we take time out for this commercial message. Great job. You had terrible cards.
What do we have behind that curtain?
Beautiful modern furniture.
Beautiful patio furniture. Open up the curtain and show her what's back there. You have a beautiful set.
Let's make a deal. Furnishing the fun. Tonight at 8 on Buzzer. Let's play.
Let's meet a new challenger. Janice, if you will, load in the cards. 2 brand new decks of cards as we meet our next player on Card Sharks. Lee Maddox. Hello, Lee. Welcome.
Jim, nice to meet you.
Nice to have you here. Tell us about yourself.
Well, Jim, I'm a pre-med student at the University of Utah, and I live in San Clemente, and I recently...
You must be the most famous person in San Clemente, Lee, being a pre-med student.
Second most famous. And I recently became the youngest life master in bridge in Southern California.
Congratulations. I love bridge. That's a great game.
Thank you.
Tell me something. Do you run across your neighbor, Mr. Nixon, in San Clemente?
Yeah, I ate dinner at his house, in fact.
Terrific.
About last summer. I was with a Foreign Study League program.
Oh, well, look at that. Some people you'd say no to dinner with an ex-president? Really?
He's a great guy.
Well, let's not get into politics now, Lee. Nice to have you here. Good luck in the match. You'll play the lower cards, the blue cards, while Karen, the champion, plays the red cards, the upper cards. Karen, the first question to you. We asked 100 married women in a previous studio audience, if a bully picked a fight with your husband at a bar, which would impress you more, if he talked his way out of it or punched his way out of it? How many women said they'd be more impressed if their husband talked his way out of it?
Oh, I think women are impressed with violence that much. I'd say if they talk their way out of it...
How many said they...
I'd say 75.
She says that 75 out of the 100 women would be much more impressed if the husband talked his way out of a fight rather than punched his way out of it. Lee, what do you think, higher or lower?
That's a good answer. I'm going to go lower than that, Jim.
You say lower?
Yeah, I think...
We have a demonstrative audience. That's nice. The actual number of married women who would be more impressed by their husband talking his way out of a fight is 85, not lower. Karen, you got it. And Karen, we'll take a look at your base card. It is a 5. Do you want to play it or keep changing?
I think I'll play with that. Now, next one higher.
Higher than a 5. It's a queen. It is higher. Remember, you can freeze or continue.
I'll go on lower.
Risking that card and this one lower than a queen. It is a 6.
Okay, next one higher.
And again, taking the risk. Higher than a 6. Oh, it's another 6. It's not higher, and you lose all 3 of them, giving Lee a free chance at his cards. And his base card is a 5. Can't change it, Lee. You've got to play it. Call this.
I'm going to go higher, Jim.
Higher than a 5.
All right.
It's a king.
Lower than the king.
Lower than a king. It's a 7.
I'm gonna go higher than the 7.
You're gonna go.
I'm not gonna freeze. I'm gonna go higher. I'm gonna take a chance.
Taking a risk with a middle card there. Higher than a 7.
Oh.
No, couldn't do it. It's not higher. Janice will fill in the spaces, please, as no one could advance. And the question goes to you, Lee. Our man on the street traveled all the way to Rome, Italy for the next question.
Rome.
How do you get to be the man on the street? Why are we doing so? Our roving man on the street asked 100 Italian men in Rome, would you consider marrying a woman just for her money? How many Italian men said yes?
Ooh. Italians are pretty... Italians are really interested. Oh, God.
They're really interested in what, Lee?
Both.
What do you think? Just for their money, how many Italian men?
I'm going to say 30.
30. 30 out of 100 Italian men would consider marrying a woman just for her money. Karen, higher or lower?
I think they're a little bit more romantic than that. But I think lower. I do.
You're lower. You think they're more romantic?
Yeah.
The actual number of Italian men who would consider marrying a woman just for her money is 22. It's lower. Karen. Well, Karen, you can change this 5 now if you'd like.
I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to go higher.
Higher than a 5. Oh, no, it's not higher right away. A 2. Lee, play up the 5 and call this.
I'm going to try higher also. Go with the
higher
odds.
Than a 5. It is a big ace.
Good card. Good card. Lower than the ace.
Lower than an ace. We'll give card a queen.
Lower than the queen.
Lower than a queen. A 10.
I'm going to go on, and it's going to be lower than the 10.
You're going to risk them all.
Yes.
If this is lower than a 10, you have the first game of the match. If not, you lose all 4 cards. For the first game, it's a 2. It's lower, and you won it. Right. Congratulations, Lee.
Thank you.
Dennis will clear the board and get set for the next game. Good win there. And every card got a little bit harder for you to do there, Lee. Karen, pressure's on now. You need this. Janice is filling in the next cards, if you will. Same 2 decks of cards right off the top. Karen, question to you. We asked 100 California men. There's a stripper... Wait till you hear the question. There's a stripper in San Francisco who boasts of a 50-inch bust. Does the thought of this turn you on or turn you off? How many men said a 50-inch bust turns them on?
I don't think I should judge by the audience. I think that's big. I think only 40.
You say 40.
Yeah.
She says 40 out of 100 men who are turned on by that 50-inch busted stripper in San Francisco.
I know I sure would, and I'm going to go lower than that.
You say
I
lower.
say it's even lower than that.
Even lower. You think, now you're in favor of it, but you say lower. You think most men...
No, I'm not in favor of it.
Oh, well, the question is, how many men said a 50-inch bust turns them on?
Right.
And you think less than... Okay, now that we've clarified it. I also should clarify her act. She's got a wonderful act. She falls down on the stage and tries to get up.
You see her.
The actual number of nearsighted men who are turned on by a 50-inch bust is 32. It's lower, Lee. You got it. All right, Lee. And your base card is a 2.
All right, I'm going to keep that and go higher than the 2.
Higher than a 2.
Oh.
Big ace.
Lower than the ace. Lower than the ace.
Than an ace. A 7.
I'm going to freeze.
Now we'll freeze. We'll move the freeze bar over. Can't take those cards away from you. You need just 2 to become the new champion. Lee, the question to you. We surveyed 100 millionaires across the country and asked them, now honestly, would you object if your daughter wanted to marry someone who was poor? How many millionaires said they would object?
Wow. Gee, I don't think that many would object. I'm going to say 35.
35 would object.
35.
Karen, higher or lower?
Oh, I think they're pretty accustomed to the lifestyle. I say higher.
Say higher than that. The actual number of millionaires who would object if their daughter wanted to marry someone poor is 6. Not higher, Lee.
I'm going to change that base card.
And now you can change it to a 9. You've got to play that one and call this.
I'm going to go lower than the 9.
Lower than a 9. It is a 4.
All right, I'm going to play on and say the next card's going to be higher than the 4.
This is higher. We have a new champion on Card Sharks. It is the king. It's higher. And you've done it. Congratulations, Lee.
Thank you.
Karen, you're leaving us with $2,800. You're a fine champion. Thank you, Karen. Lee, come on down here with me. And we'll get ready with the money cards right after we take time out for this. Good job. Good job.
Can you imagine TV without the deal of the day? The winning match.
Hi.
Well, maybe you can imagine it, but why would you want to? Primetime Buzz. TV just wouldn't be the same without it.
Tonight, starting at 8, only on Buzzer. Let's play.
And Lee Maddox, again, our congratulations on a good win.
Thank you, Jim.
You said you didn't think you're going to win one.
Ooh, I was having my second thoughts there for a while.
All right, let's tear it up now with the money cards. Let's move right on over there and get set up there for the money cards. And here they come. You know how we do it. Starting with the $200 on the bottom line, 200 more on the upper level, 7 cards in all, and over $28,000 up there if you can do it. Ready?
Sure.
Here's $200. And the choice of the 2 base cards starting with a 5. Want to play that or change it? Kind of a tricky card.
I'm going to change the 5.
We'll try to get a better card. Oh, same thing, another 5. Okay. It was destined you were going to play a 5. $200 and a 5, Lee. What's your bet here?
I'm going to bet 200 that it's going to be higher.
Right away, all of it.
Right, I'm going all of it.
$200, higher than a 5. Yeah, it's a 9. $400 now, and a 9.
Okay, I'm going to bet $100 that it's going to be lower than the 9.
$100. Lower than a 9. It is. It's a 6. $500 with a 6. It's your money, not theirs, Lee.
Okay, I'm going to bet $200 that it's going to be higher than the 6.
Big bet. $200. Higher than a 6. It is an 8. Bad cards, but you played them beautifully. $700. Up goes the 8. We had the other $200. Lee, you've got $900 and an 8.
Okay, I'm going to bet $50. No, $100 that the next card is going to be higher than the 8. $100.
Why did you change it from 50 to 100?
I want to bet in $100 increments.
Okay. And you say higher.
Yeah, higher than the 8.
Low card's gone there. Higher than an 8 for $100. Yeah, it's a 9.
Nice card.
Again, look at those cards, but you got $1,000 out of them, Lee.
I'm going to bet $200 that the next card is going to be lower than the 9.
$200 lower than a 9. And a 2. Now we got a good card. And $1,200, Lee.
I'm going to bet $1,200 that the next card is going to be higher. Higher than the 2. Higher than the 2.
$1,200 higher. Yeah, 4, and you're up to $2,400. And you've got a good card for the big bet, Lee. You must bet at least $1,200. You can bet more. $2,400, what's your big bet?
I'm going to bet $2,400 that the next card is going to be higher than the 4.
Everything higher than a 4. Everything higher, and it is! $4,800! Congratulations! That was a gutsy bet. Come on down here. A gutsy bet. You've got $5,000 now, Lee.
Oh, God, I just bought it.
We'll be right back. Right after this, don't go away.
Up next, contestants try to match wits with insane celebrities while Gene Rayburn tries to control it all on a buzzer double play of Match Game. Next, stay tuned.
This gutsy champion will meet a new challenger next time on Card Sharks. Bye-bye.
One of our polling groups will receive Whirlpool's electric range with self-cleaning oven, lift-up spill guard top, and full-width black glass panoramic door furnished by Whirlpool Corporation. And some of our contestants will receive from Gallery of Homes a book on home improvements. Gallery of Homes Brokers. If you're selling or buying a home, you'll find they do their homework. And Cool Ray fashionable sunglasses that win admiring stares while protecting from annoying glare. 86 eye-catching styles. See what you're missing with Cool Ray polarized sunglasses. And Whammo, turn off the heat and turn on slip and slide. 25 feet of cool, slippery sliding water fun from Whammo. And Eureka's new ESP extra suction power vacuum. 50% more power, more beating, brushing, and cleaning action. 6-way height adjustment Eureka. This is Gene Wood speaking for Card Sharks. A Mark Goodson, Bill Todman production.